Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Coming up tonight, a man is in hospital after being shot by police. Meanwhile, an American firm takes over the management of the courts. And a local pastor helps feed his community. Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Jared Higgs. Topping news tonight, a man is in hospital after he was shot by police officers on Friday night. According to police reports, the officers were responding to a shot spotter alert on Woods Alley when they came across two men in a shootout. One of the men directed his gun fire to those responding officers and they returned fire, injuring him. The suspect was subdued and police recovered a Glock 19 pistol. He was transported to hospital where he's listed in serious condition. The second suspect, well, he escaped. Meanwhile, police in Grand Bahama and New Providence are reporting arrests for firearm possession. Officers say a man was arrested with a black Taurus pistol after running from police. The incident took place around 8 p.m. on Friday night on Miami Street here in the capital. Over in Grand Bahama, officers from the Flying Squad arrested 3 men after finding a pistol in the vehicle they were riding in. Reports are that the men were stopped in a black Buick Regal in the area of the Mall Drive. Officers discovered a black 9mm pistol, 6 rounds of associated ammunition. If you've seen an increase in police presence through the capital, that's because the RBPF has moved into its Christmas operation, according to Police Commissioner Paul Roll.
You've noticed a lot of more police presence throughout now. Is this the time when persons like to take opportunities to borrow people things what ain't theirs? And you would have seen that we've had a few armed robberies and persons were apprehended within minutes.
Roll added that this is something he'd like to see extended beyond the holiday season. The police commissioner sent this warning to persons who may feel like they're going to commit an armed robbery.
So I could say to the persons who have this intent to rob, don't take your chance because it's very likely you're going to be caught. And so we want to make sure that the Bahamian people, our residents and our visitors, all safe and feel safe to move about during this festive season.
The American firm that will carry out the digitization of case management at Bahamian courts expects phase 1 of the process to be complete as early as the end of 2021. Our Jasmine Brown spoke to the company CEO about what they hope to achieve over the next year.
The government signed a $2 million contract on Wednesday with the Anchor Group to digitize the courts in an effort to improve efficiency. The firm's CEO Kevin Howell telling our news team that work on the integrated case management system for the courts in the Bahamas has already begun.
We will be basically going in, understanding how the paper flows through the system. When it comes in, what happens when it comes in, who touches it, who reviews it, what's the steps in terms of payment. We're going to understand all of that, right? And then we're going to map that into the system. So that's the first phase.
Funding for the ICMS was allocated by the Citizen Security and Justice Program, a $20 million loan facility funded by the Inter-American Development Bank and executed by the government of the Bahamas through the Ministry of National Security to facilitate activities that achieve the national mandate of reducing crime and violence in the Bahamas. The first phase of the ICMS program has a timeline of 18 months. Howell said some parts will be rolled out sooner.
To optimize the system, then we're going to go into configuration, training, testing, and then rollout. But we're rolling out 2 courts at a time, which means that not everybody will touch the system day one.
Chief Justice and Queen's Counsel Brian Murray foreshadowed the technological changes last year. He said a technology platform across the judiciary will help to eliminate the backlog and improve efficiency. Howell, who has met consistently with the CJ, said over the last few months it's clear the CJ is committed to improving the court system. Howell says while this project will be a huge undertaking, it will result in improved efficiency and transparency.
The entire process, all documents that goes in the system, you can track it. You can track when it went in, you can track when it was touched, you can track who touched it. And so the transparency that is required to essentially drive the type of trust in the justice system, this is what this tool is going to do. And so, is it going to take work? Yes. And so what we'll start, this exercise is to start the change management process. So this is about giving the citizen swift justice, fast justice, efficient justice, and reducing some of the backlogs that you hear in the papers over and over and over again.
During a press conference 2 weeks ago, Marie said the implementation of the case management system will provide the ability to pay online, to assign fees, and to process payments, which he says he hopes will be a major feature for members of the public. Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
After having to reduce its operations because of the COVID-19 pandemic, Chief Justice Brian Marie said more cases have been added to their already long list of unresolved matters.
It certainly has added to the backlog, both on the criminal side and on the non-criminal side. And we are actually working our way through those cases and applications which were displaced since March of this year. So we are focused on trying to catch up in respect of those cases which were taken out of the system when certain operations were suspended. And it has caused us some concern with regard to the backlog, but we are working our way through.
While he couldn't say how many cases were added, Maurice said there's a team working systematically to fix the problem. They're working to not only work through the cases put off by the pandemic, but also working to manage their calendar going forward to avoid further delays. Maurice said he's confident that they'll be able to catch up on those cases.
That at this point in time, based upon the information available to me, we're probably caught up on about 80% of that particular basket of inventory of cases. So really we're doing very well in that regard. The pre-COVID backlog is more challenging, and that's going to take a little more time to catch up on. And as I said, we are focusing a lot of attention on not contributing to it to make sure that we don't fall behind in terms of our cases going forward.
When our news comes back from the break, a local pastor helps feed his community and a tech firm lined up to help with government projects.
This year has been hard on all of us. Many have lost friends and loved ones to COVID-19, which has changed the world and the way we live.
From the start of the first case to the second wave, our news has been there with you, and we will continue to stand with you this holiday season.
Sharing in your stories of tragedy and triumph. Christmas may look and feel very different this year,
but its meaning of love and hope remains the same. From our family to yours, Merry Christmas and a safe and prosperous New Year.
Welcome back. A local pastor in the Wilson Track area is doing his part to assist the young people in that community by providing them with hot meals on a weekly basis. Bertha McDermott reports.
Every Monday, Saturday, and Sunday, Pastor Derek Feast, in collaboration with Englerston Member of Parliament Glenys Hannah Martin, feeds some 250 people. From that number, 190 of them, Feast said, are children. He said the initiative came about as they saw the need for food assistance increase in the Wilson Track area amid the global pandemic.
And I look around me and I see all of the hardship that is going on now. And I see the way in which the folks that come here and they collect the food and the way they express their appreciation, for what is being done.
Feast said on Thanksgiving that number increased to 350 people. When our news arrived to the food drive this week, children of all ages along with their parents were lined up, eagerly awaiting a hot plate. Since the onset of the pandemic, the country saw a drastic increase in the need for social assistance as many found themselves on the unemployment line. In light of this, Feast says his goal is to keep this initiative going for as long as possible.
It's my privilege, it's my desire, burning desire, to keep this going on as long as it could go on, until we really get past this pandemic.
Area MP Glenys Hannah Martin said that from this partnership, she discovered leaders emerging in the community.
And what we have found in that partnership is that leaders are emerging and there is a cohesion that is developing that has not been seen in a very long time. It's a taking of ownership of the community. And that, to me, will measure my success as a member of parliament to the extent that I can support the local community and the leadership, which creates a sustainable, transformational process.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Bertha McDermott.
The government has signed a memorandum of understanding with international tech company Cisco Systems to assist in a number of tech projects. Cisco will contribute in developing an innovation center for the University of the Bahamas Northern Campus, offer technical guidance to the government on building a tech hub, and provide marketing strategies to promote the Bahamas' ICT hub locally and internationally. The partnership will also provide training through BTVI to 100 people in software development.
Students will complete the ICT program, graduate from grade 12 with 15 courses of college credit, and many of those courses carry Cisco professional certification with them. I think that's a very impressive achievement on a global scale. We are delighted that these initiatives also speak to the need for the entire country. One of the upsides of the current pandemic is we can see that technology will allow us to bridge geographic gaps and provide training for everyone in the country, and we're excited with that opportunity.
Senator Kwesi Thompson heralded the partnership, which he said moves Grand Bahama one step closer to becoming a tech hub. He added that with Cisco's help, the country's tech talent will grow, and Bahamians trained through the program could receive job opportunities within Cisco and its partners. When our news comes back from the break, two groups team up to ease the burden in Grand Bahama. Stay with us.
This year has been hard on all of us. Many have lost friends and loved ones to COVID-19, which has changed the world and the way we live.
From the start of the first case to the second wave, our news has been there with you, and we will continue to stand with you this holiday season.
Sharing in your stories of tragedy and triumph. Christmas may look and feel very different this year,
but its meaning of love and hope remains the same. From our family to yours, Merry Christmas and a safe and prosperous New Year.
Many hands make light work as dozens of grocery bags were loaded up onto trucks ready to deliver essentials to families in need. Sawyer's Fresh Market on Grand Bahama partnered with Rotary clubs on that island to help families in Coral Gardens and Pinders Point make ends meet and make the holidays a little more special this year. Human Resources Manager Nisha Grant Kerr says it was important for the grocery store to give back.
We came up with the basic food items, hence our theme, Christmas Basket Basics. So it's the basic food items that people will need: rice, oil, meat, seasoning, and some produce items as well, that are packaged, prepackaged for one package per family.
The Rotary Club of Grand Bahama has been on the ground providing assistance. Area Governor Billie Jane Ferguson says it's obvious there was a need to fill.
There's so many who are asking, hey, do you have anything that we can have, especially food items? So this is a timely contribution for these communities. And I can tell you, we are so excited because we know what the needs are. And Rotary's motto is service above self. And so this is a great gesture to just go out and give out to the communities.
A helping hand for students courtesy of the Red Cross. That's coming up when our news returns.
This year has been hard on all of us. Many have lost friends and loved ones to COVID-19, which has changed the world and the way we live.
From the start of the first case to the second wave, our news has been there with you, and we will continue to stand with you this holiday season.
Sharing in your stories of tragedy and triumph. Christmas may look and feel very different this year,
but its meaning of love and hope remains the same. From our family to yours, Merry Christmas and a safe and prosperous New Year.
The Bahamas Red Cross spreading a little holiday joy to the survivors of Hurricane Dorian. 105 students who are registered in the Red Cross database who have expressed difficulty completing their schooling due to a lack of devices will receive brand new tablets this holiday season.
This is a small gesture of our love, our appreciation, understanding that our children cannot be left behind. There have been gaps as a result of virtual platform learning. We hope that the students will be back into the school classrooms sooner rather than later. But in the interim, the Bahamas Red Cross, we want to come to the assistance of those families who have been impacted by Hurricane Dorian and provide this for them to extend their education uninterrupted.
Shelley Austin, who received the tablet on behalf of her 7-year-old grandson, says she can't wait to see his face on Christmas Day.
I'm elated. My grandson is going to be jumping for joy, I'm sure. I didn't tell him about this phone call, but I I know when I get home, he's at the table right now doing virtual on my desktop. So when I tell him now that he has a tablet, he's going to think I'm Santa Claus.
Thank you for joining us for Our News Tonight. To catch our news on the go, download the Rab Go Play app. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Jared Higgs. Have a beautiful evening, mamas.